Hello, my friends, and welcome back. It is Saturday, March 15th, 2025. I'm the Drunk Pokeroo. 'Tis beer time, patio beer time. The end of a 5-year journey for this beer. So way back in the pandemic-y times, when everything was a locking town, and you go to the LC and get some beer. Now this came into the LC. I think it's there now, but this came in, and I wanted to do an experiment. There was 5 left at one of the LCBOs, so I picked up 5, and we've had one every year. Now, I did it in February before. I'm a little behind. Sorry about that. I don't have the alcoholic days that I had. So, Orval. It's a Belgian Trappist beer, product of Belgium. 6.9%, right? Right? Come on. How hard was that? Anyways, this is the 2020 Orval, so it's been in the cellar for 5 years. And I've had one every year, and we've watched it develop from like a Belgian Pale Ale, and we've seen it get a little more funky as it goes along and re-ferments in the bottle. They only make one beer. So I've heard tell of Belgian non-alcoholic beers. I have not found any yet. So if anybody gets a line on those, you want to shoot old Poke a message, because I would like to find that. That smells deliciously funky. Like, I'm not going to lie, that popped right out. I haven't had many funky beers, so this is going to be special. This is a beautiful beer on its own. When it's fresh, it's great. Aging has been very kind to it. Cheers. See, now I've let that warm up a bit, which I think was the right move. It's definitely funky. It does have that kind of barnyard funk going on here. That is absolutely spectacular. When you don't have these beers very often, I think this is a common theme now with me, you really appreciate the notes. You really appreciate the subtle nuances. You really appreciate the booze. It's definitely kind of, I don't want to call it muted, but it's sort of, everything's sort of come down, right? There's not a lot of sharp notes here. There's some soft citrus, some peppery notes in there, definitely with the funk. It has become like more, I think, less complex and more blended, and everything is coming together. I think for me, I think it was year 3 that I really, really think it was perfect. At 5, it's still great beer, don't get me wrong, but you find your thing. Could you age it longer? Sure, it says 5 years is kind of the max. But I think you got to make up your mind for yourself. Boozy on the back, a little warming, a little peppery. It's gorgeous. It's a fabulous beer. If you've never had Orval, you should get some. I think it's one of those beers that it's a bucket list beer. You got to check it off if you've never done it. If you've had it, you know what I'm talking about. And if you've done like I have and you've actually been able to hang on to them and age them for a couple of years, it's kind of fun to watch the development of it and watch it kind of mutate and change, as it goes along. So that's part of the fun. I do miss doing that. Don't know if we'll do that much in the future, but anything's possible. Science, medicine, it's all magic. Cheers. It's funny how like the initial sip was super funky, and I find now that I'm getting into it a little more, the funk has kind of mellowed out, and I think that's my palate being attuned to it, and I think that's the beer too. That's where the beer has headed.